Hi. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi, everybody. We are here. We are here. How you guys doing? We are live. Um, we are here for the review of Love and Marriage Huntsville this past episode. Okay. This past episode. Okay. Hi, Melody McFadden. Hello. S. Johnson. Hello. Mo. Hello from Alabama. Denise Green. Hello. I see everybody coming in. How you guys doing? Hi, Denise Ramsey. Hi, Lisa Foster. I see you guys coming on in. Come on in. Come on in. Um, says Happy Sunday, Caramel. Hello. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. There's no celebrity news today. We're actually here to do the review, as you guys saw in the description, for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now, I wanted to log on yesterday and do a live. I had a few things I wanted to talk about yesterday, but upon me getting ready to log on, I found out some very crazy news yesterday. My neighbor, who I'm really, really good friends with, I found out she passed away. So I was kind of processing that yesterday. And yeah, I was kind of a little bit in my feelings about it because it was kind of like a shock. I literally had just talked to her days ago. So it was kind of a shock for me to hear that she passed away at home. I was just like, oh wow. So I was just kind of in my funk a little bit, and I really didn't feel like even going online to even talk and or do a review or anything. So I just kind of chilled out yesterday and just kind of processed and kind of, yeah, it was crazy. So I said, let me log on in today since I had a chance to get my review together to talk to my Caramelians, okay? Yes, so let's get to it. All right, if you guys watched the episode, you know that it started out. Let me back up. So y'all know this is season 5, episode 2, where it's the Mar-Say-It-Ain't-Sau episode. Okay, so the episode starts where it left off with the group with Dr. Francis. Okay, where they're sitting around at the dinner table. Okay, now Dr. Francis tells Lewis and Tiffany that when you discover you're playing a game, that you realize you're not actually playing the game. Okay, that's what he's telling them. At which both of them look hella confused. Okay, because y'all know Dr. Francis be throwing out these real deep topics whenever he's talking to you and or counseling you. And yeah, Tiffany and Lewis was looking like play the game, like what? So he also said, Dr. Francis also says, once you own it to be a reality, that you'll act it out. Okay, so that's what Dr. Francis had to say. Lewis and Tiffany then asked Dr. Francis if they think that his marriage to Tiffany was a game. So Lewis, he was kind of taking everything that Dr. Francis was saying. He was kind of taking it personal, okay? Because they were already not receptive to Dr. Francis kind of, picking their brain and talking to them about their marriage. They were already in their feelings, okay? Yeah, so at which then Dr. Francis was looking puzzled like, what? Like, you're not getting anything that I'm saying. That's the look that he was giving them. So then Lewis says in his confessional, he went into his confessional, and Lewis says that Dr. Francis has only known us for a short time, and he has already putting assumptions on our marriage. Okay, like I said, he was very defensive. But my thing is this: you didn't know Tisha and Marceau but for like a little minute, but then you had all these things to say about them and their marriage. Like Lewis and Tiffany come off as the type of people who can dish it out but can't take it. They have all the advice for everyone else, but as soon as you give them advice, then it's World War III. Like I said before in my other review, they don't want to hear you telling them anything about them and or their marriage, but they have everything to say to you and try to correct you, which I think is so crazy. I think it's so crazy. So again, Tiffany, in true Tiffany form, starts rolling her eyes, honey, and throwing that head back, throwing them, like I said, Easter curls back. Okay, because she's in her feelings, and yeah. So of course y'all know Lewis had on his orange Easter tie from 8 Easters ago, sitting up there looking crazy. I was like, bro, where's you going with this damn orange Easter tie on? In his confessional, looking crazy. I was like, bro. So then Tiffany says, I don't know where he went to school or where he got his credentials from, but I don't respect his opinion. That's what she's saying about Dr. Francis. Okay, it says that we don't respect his opinion, and we don't know where he went to school from. You know, anything to kind of shoot down anybody with, you know, some kind of know how to tell them anything about their marriage, because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear. I'm like, why did you even come to the counseling session if you guys are so perfect in you know, your marriage? That's what I don't understand. And I'm just like, girl, we don't understand where you got your fashion from. You don't understand where he got his credentials. We don't understand where you got your fashion from. We don't understand why you keep wearing these damn Easter curls and these damn Easter and revival shoes everywhere you go, girl. Yeah. So then Dr. Francis then ends the dinner chat, okay, as to say that he's going to go ahead and dismiss the couples. Okay, so he dismissed them. Next scene, the next morning, all right, is where Marceau is in the kitchen cooking breakfast for everyone. I was like, Lord. All right, so he's in there cooking scrambled eggs. He was cooking bacon, which the bacon was real limp. It still looked raw. And I was thinking, why did you not let the baconologist, who we all know is Tisha, go in there and cook damn bacon? What his ass doing in there trying to cook the bacon? You should have been having Tisha's ass in there cooking the bacon, since she is the baconologist. We already told y'all that whenever she cooks the bacon and he smells the aroma, that's what makes them come home. So why is his ass in there trying to cook the bacon and it looked raw? But anywho, so he was in there cooking the scrambled eggs, toast, and some damn bacon. Okay. Yeah. So then Lewis comes in and starts talking to Marceau, and he's asking him what he thought about the conversation at the table the prior night with Dr. Francis and everyone else at the table. Okay. Yeah, he's asking him that. Give me 1 second. And he was asking what he thought about the whole dragon session between Dr. Francis and how he was coming at him and Tiffany. Okay. And Lewis says that he hopes that Dr. Francis could actually see the real between he and Tiffany. But I'm like, nobody could see the real between the two of you, because y'all, like I said, y'all came on the show with this whole facade of you guys being this perfect married couple. But then we started picking up stuff along the way. And now that everybody's starting to see it, you guys don't want to own up to the fact that your marriage is not perfect. Nobody has a perfect marriage. Like, stop it. Nobody has a perfect marriage. But then Lewis starts giving out marital advice. Okay, and starts excusing his imperfections and was saying that he didn't want to hear anything from Dr. Francis. Okay. But my thing is, like I said, he can dish it out, but he can't take it. That's that damn Lewis. So then Marceau says in his confessional, all right, that he don't like taking therapy, but he's open to the next person that he's open like the next person to figure out how to become a better him. When have we seen Marceau go to any therapy? And when have we seen him be open to anybody tell him of himself? I'm going to say never. Yeah. I was like, he's lying through them damn baby teeth once again. Marceau, you are lying through them damn baby teeth. All right, so then they showed the flashback from the last reunion where Marceau and Lewis got into it, okay? If you guys watched last season where Lewis was coming for Marceau as to talk to him at the reunion now, as to talk to him about his marriage with him and Tisha and you know, how they're not perfect. And they were going back and forth. They were pretty much arguing where Lewis was trying to check Marceau, and Marceau was telling him that he's not perfect at marriage. He's just perfect at divorce, because y'all know that Lewis has been divorced prior to Tiffany. So Marceau was telling him that he's an expert at divorce versus marriage. Okay. So he became very upset, Marceau did, and very defensive with Lewis, okay, at that reunion. So then Lewis apologizes to Tisha and Marceau for speaking on their marriage, okay? Yeah. After realizing, of course, that he was wrong again, okay? Yeah. So then Tisha and her thick tongue, she started wagging her tongue and said to Tiffany and Lewis that marriage is hard, but we all just try and do our best, not best. I said best, B-E-S-S or B-E-S-T, girl. Yes, and that we don't need people coming in our circle making it harder. That's what she's saying to Lewis and Tiffany, okay? But my thing is this, Marceau does a great job at making your marriage hard, ma'am. I think Marceau does a great job at making your marriage hard by himself. We don't need Tiffany and Lewis to input anything to help Marceau and Tisha's marriage be harder than what it is. All right. So then Marceau says in the confessional, he says, now that Dr. Francis has pulled a Lewis on Lewis, says that he's willing to admit that he was wrong last year for speaking on him and his marriage. Okay. And he said, while he forgives him, he said that he forgives him for what he had to say, but he also, if y'all know, true Marceau fashion, he had to turn around and shade Lewis. All right. So then Marceau asked Lewis and Tiffany, how does it feel to be diagnosed professionally as being fake? I was like, what? He asked him, how does he feel about being diagnosed professionally as being fake? I was like, damn. So being his usual sarcastic self, y'all know how damn Marceau is. And Lewis, he kind of gave him a look like, what? So then Tiffany looks at Marceau like as to say, like, bitch, bye. Like, who is you talking to? Like, who are you talking to? And ain't nothing fake about us. All right, so Tiffany then snaps back at Marceau and says to him, fuck that. I was like, oh girl. And then she kind of laughs it off. All right, so she was super annoyed at Marceau for coming at them like that. All right, so then Kimmy and Maurice comes in to the breakfast table where Tisha and Marceau and Lewis and Tiffany are already sitting and they've already started eating breakfast. Now, Dr. Francis gave each of the couples a black t-shirt, and on the front of that shirt says refueling. Okay, so they all were supposed to wear the shirt. Lewis and Tiffany opted out of wearing the shirt, and Kimmy and Maurice made it a point to bring it up as to why they weren't wearing their shirt, and they just were like, we didn't want to. Okay, so of course they were trying to be their usual insubordinate selves, Tiffany and Lewis. Okay, so then Kimmy and Maurice jokingly brings up the fact that Dr. Francis was talking to them about the word commitment, as we talked about in the last video. So they brought that back up, and of course Lewis and Tiffany were bothered by that because they're saying, hey, we feel like we're committed. And we don't understand why people keep saying that we're not committed. Like, we're here, we're committed. So they felt like because they were actually there, that they were fully committed to the process when they weren't. Okay. So then Kimmy said in the confessional that she's 100% glad that they have a chance to speak to the Whitlows because they come into the group speaking on Tisha and they came into the group speaking on Tisha and Marceau's marriage. Okay. So then they showed a flashback where Lewis and Tiffany was at home, actually speaking on Tisha and Marceau's marriage, just kind of picking them apart, saying, well, they don't do this, and Marceau should do this, and Tisha don't do this, going kind of back and forth talking about Marceau and Tisha's marriage. So then Kimmy says to Tiffany and Lewis, says, it's weird how a person who likes to give advice don't want to take none. That is what Kimmy said to Tiffany and Lewis, which of course, they're always doing that. And of course, they were bothered by it, but they weren't kind of coming at Kimmy like that because y'all know Kimmy is like this here. Kimmy kind of goes toe to toe, which I like that about her. So then Lewis says, for a person to try to dissect me and tell me my marriage is a game, that he just wasn't feeling that. Okay. So then Kimmy cuts him off mid-sentence and said, but you did it to Marceau. That's what Kimmy said to Lewis, okay? And Lewis just kind of shuts down and he just kind of shakes his head like he's just over it, okay, when Kimmy shut him down. So then Kimmy says to the Whitlows, it says that you're quick to give advice, but you don't take advice, and that's not receptive. That's not being receptive. So Tiffany kind of scoffed like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, they were just not open to the process, okay? So then Maurice says to Lewis that the difference between saying it and hearing it, no, he said the difference between saying that I hear you and fuck you is two different things. So he's saying that Lewis would be like, yeah, I hear you, but he's really in his mind saying, all right, fuck you. Like, he really is not hearing you. So that's what Maurice was saying to Lewis. Okay. And then Lewis responded with a, sarcastic, like, yeah, I get that. He was like, yeah, I get that. Like, whatever. So then Kimmy says to Tiffany that says that you didn't seem genuine in your conversation about you wanting to have another baby. As y'all know, a couple episodes back that Tiffany sat down with Kimmy as to tell her that she and Lewis wanted to have another baby. Okay. And she made it sound like that Lewis was on board to have another baby when he was not. Lewis has said this whole time that he does not want to have another baby. They don't have time for it. that Tiffany does not have time for him and or the business and things that they have going on in the home. So he has been shooting this whole having another baby thing down since day one. But when Tiffany brought it up in the meeting with Dr. Francis and everyone, she brought it up as to say that Lewis was on board, and even Lewis was looking like, bitch, no, I'm not. I don't want another baby. That's the look that Lewis was giving. So then Kimmy says to so then the group continues, okay, to discuss with Lewis and Tiffany about not being open to the process, okay, with Dr. Francis, which they were not. They were not being receptive. Like everything that everybody was trying to tell them in this meeting, they just were not feeling it. All right. So next scene, which was my very, very favorite scene in this whole episode. Okay. Next scene, Mel meets with Miss Marlene for breakfast at a restaurant to talk. As y'all know, last episode, they had a conversation about Melody and Miss Marlene having a little falling out. Okay, so now Miss Marlene is meeting Melody at a restaurant, and they're going to sit down and have breakfast together to discuss it and or hash things out. Okay, so Miss Marlene walks in wearing her red club dress, okay, and her white Easter sandals, and her braids done by Bonquisha from the nearest hood near you, with her red smeared lipstick, okay, and her caterpillar eyebrows. We can't lie about it. I was like, girl, where is you going with these damn white Easter shoes and your club dress? Okay, and the braids were looking a mess, but we'll take it, girl. It was better than the party all the time wig, so that it was a step up. Party all the time wigs here, the braids were here, so it was like a step up. We'll take it. We'll take it, Mother Hope. We'll take it. All right, so then Mel greets Miss Marlene. They sit down to talk and eat to discuss. Yes, child. They sit down and eat to discuss moving past some recent issues. And Miss Marlene, she seemed very receptive. Okay? Yeah, she seemed very receptive. So she sat down and proceeded to chow down on her food. And when I tell y'all, baby forgot that the cameras was rolling, because when I tell y'all Miss Marlene ate, baby, like she had not ate in 3 days. Do you hear me? I keep telling y'all I want no food in that house. Miss Marlene was eating, baby, like she was never going to eat again. Do you hear me? Yes, she was. By the time they put her plate down, baby, she was raking that food in her mouth, and she forgot that the Love and Marriage Huntsville cameras were there. Can't lie about it. Yes. So then Mel says to Miss Marlene, she says that last year we stopped talking, and that there were things that I'd heard that you were saying that concerned me, which caused me to block you. Okay? Yes. So it says that a conversation was made that Mel said, it says that a conversation was had that that said that some things that I said were untrue. That's what she was saying. So Miss Marlene called Mel lazy, and then put the said that she put the bulk of the work on Martell. Okay, that's what Miss Marlene was saying about Mel, and Mel was pissed about that. So then Mel asked Miss Marlene and says that, do you think that I ever said anything negative about you? And Miss Marlene said no. She said, no. She said, I don't think that you ever said anything negative about me. And then Miss Marlene brings up the text that Melody sent her. So she's still in her feelings about it. So Melody is trying to call Miss Marlene out on the stuff that she said about her. And in true narcissistic form, Miss Marlene, she's going to throw it back and say, well, you did this to me. So it's kind of like, you said this about me. So now Miss Marlene is coming back with the whole, well, you text me this and this is what you said, and now my feelings is hurt. One of those. So then Marlene says that she realizes that Mel was hurt whenever she sent the text to Melody. Okay. And I'm like, you think with all the bullshit that you had to say about her and the way that she was taking up for Martell, when you knew that Martell was wrong for the way that he did her. So yes, she was pissed whenever she texted her. So now they show the text on the screen as to what Melody actually texted Miss Marlene. And I'm going to read that to you. Melody says to Miss Marlene, says that your son is a liar, which we all know he is. Okay. That says that you have upheld Martell for a very long time and not made him take responsibility. It says since day one, it's been, she said, I've been nothing but good to you and fair when it came to you. Okay. Right. Like helping you pay your bills and or keeping your lights on and buying you some oil sheen to spray on your party all the time wigs. Like I've done that for you, Miss Marlene. That's what Melody was trying to tell her ass. Okay, so she says, y'all enjoy and do what y'all do. And then she told Miss Marlene, don't text back because I'm blocking you. That's what Melody told Miss Marlene. Okay. She was like, yes, bye-bye, caterpillar eyebrows. Do not try to text me back because, bitch, you are blocked. That's what Melody told Miss Marlene. Yes. Don't try to text me back, bitch, because you are blocked. Don't even waste your time. That's what Mel was telling her ass. Okay. So then Mel says to Miss Marlene that she was removing negative vibes and that she was bothered by Miss Marlene saying that Mel was lazy and that she was going to kill her son by working him too much. Well, what kind of work was Martell doing that was just too much? Besides working your penis out yourself. We don't talk about it. You was out here making babies. You was not at home helping her fold no laundry and washing no clothes and cooking no meals and washing the dishes and mopping the floor. He wasn't doing none of that. Melody was doing that. Okay. And my thing is this, Miss Marlene, how do you know what is going on in Mel and Martell's house? You won't living with them. Girl, go home and comb your wigs and spray some oil sheen on them because I'm tired of seeing the bitches be, yeah. Oh, let me get back to this thing. Yeah. So then they did a playback of Miss Marlene saying when she said that, oh, you're going to kill my son and that he just does too much. That was her. You're going to kill my son. Oh, he just does too much. She just working my son too much. Oh, she going to kill my son. I was so worried about my boy. That's what she had to say about Martell. And I was just like, you were worried about him. Was you worried about him when he was running the streets with all these women? But you was worried about him at home with his wife, who was making sure that everything was running like it needed to. Like your worry was in the wrong place, ma'am. Okay, you weren't worried about him when he was cheating. Okay, so then Mel says to Miss Marlene, it says, you became a casualty of war and really had nothing to do with anything. That's what Melody was telling her. All right. And then Mel said, let the record show that I did nothing in the marriage with Martell. Okay. She said, oh, yeah, I did nothing in the marriage with Martell. That's what she was saying. Mel was being sarcastic. As you know, Miss Marlene was saying that Melody didn't do anything. So Mel was like, okay, yeah, oh, I did nothing in the marriage with Martell. Okay. And Miss Marlene was sitting there kind of looking at her with this grin like, bitch, what's wrong with you? Okay. Meanwhile, she's still raking that food in because y'all know Mel was paying for the meal. So Miss Marlene, baby, she was going to go ahead on and scrape that plate. She was not about to let that plate be sitting there and the food get cold. Okay. So while Mel is pouring her heart out, Miss Marlene, honey, was filling her mouth up. Yeah. So then Miss Marlene says to Mel, it says, you were a little lazy. She said, oh, girl. She said, you were a little lazy. She said, and I hushed that. And then she did like a little laugh, try to laugh it off. She said, just hush that fuss. She said, now you was a little lazy. She said, and you ain't got to do all that. That's what Miss Marlene said. Okay. So she also said to Mel, she said that you got a little comfortable. Okay. That's what she told Mel. She said, you did get a little comfortable. She says, and you were a little lazy. That's what Miss Marlene said to Mel. She said, and I guess that if I was having children, I guess I'd be a little lazy too. Well, you were a little lazy because you didn't do a damn thing with Martell, baby, when he was a little boy. And we can tell because in adulthood, baby, he is a hot damn mess out here in these streets. Miss Marlene, okay? You didn't do a damn thing with Martell. So no, you were not working too much as it appears to your son because look how he turned out. Okay? Yeah. So then Mel sarcastically laughs, saying that she remembers a conversation that Marlene had with her and Martell saying that they do too much and that they need to slow down and take a break. Okay. And Melody said Martell even agreed that Marlene always said that he and Mel stayed on the go and was always very busy. So she was saying, I don't see how you get that I never did anything when you told Martell that both Martell and Mel always stayed busy and was always doing things and they needed to slow down. Okay. So then Miss Marlene was looking like, huh? And that's my thing with her ass. She be drinking too much that she don't be remembering stuff that she say. Like she would throw out something and say something real slick. And then when you bring it back to her, she don't remember because her ass been drinking. Okay. Yeah. So Miss Marlene, okay, still wolfing down her breakfast. All right. Says to Mel, says that you laid back and says that and saying that Martell this and Martell that and Martell just took it. That's what Miss Marlene was saying. Okay. And then Mel gave her a look like, no, I didn't do that. Yeah. So, you know, Marlene was steady going back and forth with Mel. So then Miss Marlene says that she said, yeah, I said it. She told Mel, yeah, I said it. I said that you was going to kill my boy. I said that you was lazy. She said, but it's a new day and let's move on. That's typical narcissistic conversation. Yeah, I was wrong, but you know what? Let's move on past it. We're not going to harp on it. Yeah, I was wrong. I said what I said. Let's move past it. So that's what she was saying to Mel. So then Mel's response was, okay, like, okay, whatever. Okay, so then there was a confessional where Marlene is a Mel said that Marlene is a character and always takes up for Martell, and that she thinks that Martell is always right, and that she wants Martell to have a relationship, and that she wants Miss Marlene to have a relationship with the kids. Okay, so Mel is saying that she wants to squash this entire situation because she does want Miss Marlene to have a relationship with the kids. Okay, she don't want that tension because she is their grandmother. Okay, so that is what Mel was saying. So she is willing to move past and squash everything, for peace sake. All right. So then Mel says to Miss Marlene, she says, since it's a new day, Mel pulls out her phone and shows it to Miss Marlene and says that I still have you in my phone as Mama Hope. Okay. She said, I still have you saved in my phone as Mama Hope. All right. And she said that I'm going to go into my phone and unblock you. All right. That's what Mel said to Miss Marlene. All right. And so Miss Marlene, she was happy about that thing, baby. Like, oh, you about to unblock me? But then she tried to throw out a little shade and be a little smart at the mouth. And she told Mel, she said, no, keep me blocked, girl. And then she tried to laugh it off. She said, just come by and ring my doorbell. That's what she told Mel. And Mel was like, nah, I'm not trying to be just pulling up on folk. That's not my thing. I'm not trying to be just up and pulling up on folk. And so Miss Marlene looked at her like, really? So then Miss Marlene said to her, and she was laughing when she said it. She was like, well, she said, actually, they make up. And then Miss Marlene says, well, maybe in the future we can go and sit down since we've kind of ironed things out, and we can, like have dinner or something sometime, And she said, because I'm gonna always love you because you're my grandkid's mother. That's what she told Mel. Okay. So then they go to the next scene when they're with the couples counseling with Dr. Francis. And Dr. Francis has all of the couples like sitting like beside each other, but they're kind of like sitting in like a circular, like they're kind of sitting circular. Okay. And in the middle, he has two chairs where he was going to pick a couple to sit in the chair, like the husband and the wife, and they were going to be facing each other. And he was just going to ask them questions, but he told them they could not sit in the chair unless they were going to be honest with the group. So he was going to ask them certain questions and they had to be honest. So the couple that he chose to sit in the chair, of course, was Lewis and Tiffany. And I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. Here we go. All right. So Lewis and Tiffany goes up and sits in the chairs. And Lewis, you could already tell that he just was not feeling it. He was not feeling it. Tiffany kind of went along with it. She was kind of over it as well. All right. So then Lewis begins to talk about his issues and his losses, okay? And Tiffany begins to talk about her losses as well, which makes Lewis become emotional and he starts to cry, okay? Like he really, really was crying, y'all, okay? I was like, oh, Lord, honey, not Lewis. So then Tiffany, she reaches over and she leans in and she consoles him while he's crying, okay? All right. And he pretty much says that his losses motivate him and being judged bothered him, okay? And he also says that calling him fake, that really bothered him as well, because that's something that he said that he just was not. He was not fake. Nothing about him was fake. So then Tisha, again, in true Tisha form, she had to get in the middle of it again. And she spoke about her friend that she just recently lost. And she said that and of course, she began to fake cry. Lewis was showing tears. Tisha still no tears. I'm like, Tisha, where's your tears, girl? Where are your tears? We have gone to commercial break and came back and you still have no tears. Like we done gave you a whole commercial break, girl, to whip up some tears, and we get back to Dr. Francis and the couples and her ass is still sitting over there with no tears. Lewis, honey, as soon as he start talking, he'll start pouring down. Tisha, not so much. But she was wiping her face. And I'm like, what are you wiping? Because, girl, you wiping off your Maybelline. You're not wiping off no tears. We need to see some tears. Yeah. So then Marceau, of course, he starts speaking on the loss of that friend as well, because he knew that friend. Then they showed a flashback where the friend's husband was speaking very highly about the wife, as to say that he really, really loved her. Okay. And this friend was also a friend of Maurice. Okay. So of course, Tiffany begins to cry after watching Lewis start to cry. It kind of triggered her and she began to cry. And Tisha was still sitting over to the side, still trying to cry. Yeah. I was like, girl, where's these tears? All right. So, of course, she did not start crying. So they went on to the next scene. All right, so next scene, they show Martell at his Airbnb house, because we all know he lives with Mother Holt. Okay. Mama Holt, she tells Martell that that she saw Melody and had a conversation with her, and that they actually went to breakfast and sat down and talked. Martell was very happy to hear that, okay, because he's been saying that he wanted his mom and Melody to make up and be in a better space, okay. Now, so Martell, like I said, was sitting at his desk trying to look busy. Okay, don't know what the hell he thought he was doing. Talking about ordering more bottles of his incest wine because he said he's getting so many orders. Since when? Anyway, lies, because we still have people who have not received their orders. All right. So then Martell says that that things are getting better in terms of co-parenting with Mel. That's what he's telling his mom. Okay, which I seriously doubt, according to all the bullshit that's been going on. So then Miss Marlene is saying that that it's all about respect. That's what she had to say about that. She said it's all about respect. She says that me and Mel talked and had breakfast, and then Martell, like I said, was happy to hear it and wanted her to elaborate on what they were actually talking about and how it turned out. Okay. So then Martell made it a point to call Melody disrespectful for sending Miss Marlene the text that she sent her about, you know, I'm blocking you, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Not realizing that his mama had already been talking greasy about Mel, which made her send her the text to tell her that she was blocking her. So, of course, he's not going to have his mom take responsibility for what she said, but then he wants to throw it all on Melody as to say that she was disrespectful for blocking his mom because she was talking greasy about her. Narcissist. His mom is narcissistic, and so is he. Okay. Yes. So then Miss Marlene says that it's all about being a woman. It's all about being a woman. That's what she said. Okay. And then Martell says, look at Melody trying to finally come around. That's what Martell had to say. Yeah. So then Miss Marlene says that people have to heal when they have time. They pretty much saying that they heal in their own time. So then Martell says that he's happy that they could squash the beef between the two of them. And Miss Marlene says that she loves Mel since day one and that she's always loved her and that she's always going to love her. All right. So then Martell says that we should all be able to sit down someday and have dinner because, you know, pretty much their family. That's what he's trying to say. But y'all know Mel is not trying to be sitting down having no damn dinner, breakfast, lunch, brunch, or anything with Martell's ass. She barely wanted to sit down and have anything with Marlene. Okay. But she was doing it for the sake of their kids, according to Melody. All right, so next scene, they get back to the couples with Dr. Francis, okay? Where Tiffany and Lewis, they're in their bedroom and they're actually talking about the prior meeting that they had when they had to sit in the chairs and facing each other. And Tiffany was asking Lewis, like, what do you think about that? How do you think that went? Okay, how do you think that particular meeting went? And Lewis starts talking about the disconnect that he has with his father, okay, and that his father really wasn't there for him like he should have been growing up, and that kind of bothered him. So again, he begins to cry. Like Lewis, I think Lewis has a lot of bottled up anger and animosity in his life that he don't want to talk about, and he puts on this front and he has this wall up to where he wants to appear to be perfect, but deep down he has some very deep-rooted issues that he really needs to speak to somebody about. But him and Tiffany, they have conditioned themselves to make people think that they are perfect when they are not. My thing is this: you are there with a professional. Why not sit one-on-one and talk with him and get whatever these issues out that you have, versus holding on to them and trying to appear to be perfect? That's my thing. Okay. Like you see that he was kind of starting to have a breakthrough, but then it's like he caught himself and kind of pulled back. Okay. He started crying like he wanted to release that, but then he caught himself like, oh, the cameras are here. Let me pull back. I really don't want to talk about it and tell everything because we've already talked about that we're perfect. That's kind of how Lewis was coming off. All right. So then it goes to the next scene where Tisha and Marceau are in the kitchen, and it looks like they are cleaning up the kitchen and they're kind of wrapping up, finishing up, doing whatever they were doing in the kitchen. Marceau is in there getting him something to drink. So Dr. Francis walks in and calls them into the next room to have a conversation with Tisha and Marceau one-on-one about their marriage. Okay. Yeah. So then Tisha kind of looks at Marceau like, oh shit, like what's about to happen? Like why he want to talk to us? Like, girl, you already know why. He already been digging in in Lewis and Tiffany's ass this whole entire time. So now it's y'all turn. It's you and Marceau's turn. Okay. So they sit down and Dr. Francis asks Tisha and Marceau, so how do you think things are going? You know, in terms of how do you think things are going in terms of the counseling session, your marriage, blah, blah, blah. So Marceau, Tisha said nothing. Marceau said, oh, it's going good. It's going really good. So then Dr. Francis looked confused, like, if it's so good, then why are y'all here? Like, really, like, why are y'all here? So then Marceau tries to joke, per usual, talking about Lewis doing all this crying and that things are pretty heavy, speaking on others' marriages. You know, that's what Marceau had to say. All right. When he spoke about Mel and Martell's marriage. Okay, that's my thing. So then Tisha adds that, you know, she's still dealing with the loss and deaths. And she said that things are really heavy with her. That is what Tisha had to say. So then Tisha and Marceau, they show them in a confessional, and then they're speaking on therapy and how annoyingly difficult it is. That's what Marceau was saying. Marceau was saying that therapy is annoyingly difficult. Okay. So then Tisha was, of course, in the confessional. And when I saw this, I started laughing when I was writing it. Tisha was looking like a little doo-wop Johnny girl in the damn confessional. She had like this high ponytail and this long mess hanging down, and the whole makeup, just the whole get up. She was giving Diana Ross Supremes vibes, you know, that baby, where did our love go? That's how she was looking in the confession. I was like, girl, where's you going with this damn high ponytail and this crazy pale looking makeup on? She was looking a hot damn mess. But anywho, so then Marceau says to Dr. Francis that the last 3 years of their marriage is the most difficult because of people's opinions. Okay. Yeah. It says that the last 3 years of their marriage is the most difficult because of other people's opinions, that other people have been, you know, pretty much chiming in on their marriage. So they're pretty much trying to say that they're good, but their problem is other people chiming in and trying to tell them there's issues in their marriage when they don't feel like it is. So then Dr. Francis looked at Marceau like, boy, stop. Like, you got issues. Tisha had already done sat down and told him prior to them even coming there that they had issues. That she told him how Marceau was doing things and how she, you know, really needed to speak to somebody. And she was even in tears at one point. So with Marceau saying, oh, everything is so good, oh, it's other people that's chiming into our marriage, Dr. Francis was looking like, that's not what Tisha told me prior. So that with Marceau and Tisha says that the constant input in our marriage has external force and constant feedback in our marriage that's causing issues between the two of us. That is what they're saying. Okay. So I'm just like, no, it's not everybody else. It's y'all. Y'all need to be transparent with the things that's really going on with y'all. Like, we've seen season after season after season and episode after episode situations between Tisha and Marceau, but they want to get on this season and act like their marriage is so perfect and keep throwing out this 16 years. Well, who cares that you've been married for 16 years if the 16 years that you've been married have been a hot damn mess? Like, we've seen Tisha crying because Marceau wasn't there and she thought he was cheating. She had questioned him several times. And then you get here in this meeting with Dr. Francis and you want to act like that everything is copacetic when it's not. It's not. So then they had a flashback where they were showing different people chiming into their marriage and giving their input. One of the people that chimed in was Wanda, where she was fussing at Marceau, okay? Standing up there with that damn hard-ass high Easter bun on, okay? With them damn pin curls, talking about Marceau, going off on him. Then they showed Martell bringing up the whole 20 women thing when he and Marceau was at the little rental house that Martell was working on, and Marceau pulled up on him to talk. So then Martell, you know, told him, like, how you gonna try to talk about my infidelities when you've been out here with 20 women? And then Marceau, he just kind of looked like, bro, hold up, what are you doing? You messing up the bro code. That's kind of how Marceau was looking at Martell, and Martell just kind of stuck with the whole, yes, you will win 20 women. So then they showed Tisha saying to Mel and Martell while they were sitting at the table having dinner, I think it was with Kimmy and Kimmy and Maurice, where where Tisha was saying that she's never experienced any infidelity in her marriage, which they put the camera on Mel and Martell, and Martell said, excuse me, what? He said, what did you say? And Tisha was like, I haven't experienced any type of infidelity in my marriage, which then made Melody turn all the way around in her chair at the table and put her head down and start snickering. And she was just like, she was looking like, girl, stop these damn lies. Like, we already know stuff that's been going on between you and Marceau. That's the look that Mel gave. Okay. Pretty much calling them liars and calling Tisha a lie as well. All right. So then Tisha says to Marceau, in another clip where they showed where she was crying and asking him, is there any truth to this whole 20 girlfriends thing? Okay, y'all remember that in, I want to say 3 seasons back, where they was at the little log house with all of them. Y'all remember that? Where she was talking to him outside and she walked up to him and said, hey, is there any truth to this whole 20 women thing? And then of course they showed Marceau where he was saying, Tisha, I can't answer that question. And I'm just like, why you can't answer this a yes or no? Like, why we got to do this whole cat and mouse game? If you did it, say yes. If you didn't, say no. Okay. So then they Tisha started crying, of course, about the possible infidelity because Marceau would not give her a straight answer. Okay. But then it's everybody else. So my thing is this: if you didn't have any infidelities in your marriage, why do you continue to keep crying when the subject about cheating comes up? If you're so good in your marriage and there's no issues, why do you continue to cry and or question Marceau if you guys have a perfect 16-year marriage? Okay. Because truth be told, you had a shotgun wedding, ma'am. You got married because you were pregnant. It already came out. We spoke about it. Okay. So then Tisha says to Dr. Francis, it says that God gave you this husband for a reason. It says it's okay to depend on him. This is what Tisha is telling Dr. Francis. Whole time Dr. Francis is sitting there looking like, bitch, what are you talking about? So, yeah. So then Tisha says about Marceau, she says that she says that God gave her Marceau to be obedient and submissive. She said, I don't know. God gave me Marceau to be obedient and submissive. And Dr. Francis looks like, what? Like, what the hell? So then Dr. Francis, like I said, he frowns and gave her this look like, no. So then Tisha says, she says that I said to myself, she says that Tisha, it's okay to listen to your husband and stop listening to the outside forces. She said that you have to listen to the man internally and to the man that God has blessed you with, who has never disappointed you. Really, Tisha? Are we really trying to throw God in this when we already know that Marceau has been caught in Atlanta in a hotel room with his damn back fat out with a woman in there taking a picture of him? Are we really going to do that? Are we really going to sit here and act like Carlos King didn't just call Marceau out as to ask where his ass was when the new season was getting ready to premiere and you lied and said he was at the gym when everybody else was like, it's 8 o'clock. Like, who was at the gym at this time of night when the premiere of y'all show getting ready to come on? Like, come on, girl. Come on. She stayed taking up for him. I'm just like, girl, I get it. You want to be a sister wife out here, but please stop acting like you have no infidelities and no issues in your marriage. Like, stop it. It's starting to become very annoying at this point. Melody and Martell, they know some things and they've been trying to be hush about it. But Tisha is just so matter of fact that because she and Marceau have been together for 16 years, that they have no issues. She like to keep throwing that out. We've been married the longest. We've been together the longest. And my thing is this, baby. It sounds like it's more business than love. We already talked about that Tisha has all the businesses in her name because Marceau's credit is effed up. Okay, so neither one of them is going to break away and leave the other because they need each other to survive. Marceau needs Tisha because of her credit. Tisha wants Marceau because she needs him emotionally. She needs that emotional support because she did not get it growing up. Wanda was not there emotionally for Tisha because she was running the streets and boosting and doing everything that she needed to do. So Tisha was with her grandmother during those years. Okay. This is why Tisha is so emotionally attached to the other women on the show. When she fell out with Mel, if you notice, she went and started clinging right on to Destiny. Tisha has to always have somebody that she can cling on to have that emotional support because she does not get it from home. Marceau does not give Tisha the emotional support because his ass ain't never home. but you have a perfect marriage and your husband goes to Africa for a year and does not call you, and that's okay. Okay. We'll go with it, girl. We'll go with it. We'll go with it. So then Dr. Francis says to Tisha, so God gave you a man that you're just supposed to just listen to? That's what Dr. Francis asked Tisha. It says, is that what you're saying? That's what Dr. Francis asked Tisha. And Tisha said, yeah. And just trusting him. She said, I'm just trusting Marceau. I'm just going to trust him because he hasn't given me a reason not to. Okay. So then Marceau chimes in and says, but when it comes down to it, I don't make decisions unilaterally. That's him. He had to chime in, okay, because he saw Dr. Francis getting in Tisha's ass and she started getting tripped up. So he had to jump into this conversation. All right. So then Dr. Francis, he kind of frowns like, it's the facial expressions for me with Dr. Francis. Okay. When they say stupid stuff that don't make no sense, like it be all over his face. Like, what? He gives you that what the hell look when they get to talking that crazy mess. Okay. All right. So then Dr. Francis, like I said, he frowns. And then Marceau continues to say, he says, I speak it over with Tisha all the time. Okay. He says that I don't discount her because if I discount her, that means that I don't respect her, which you don't damn respect her. Okay. He says, and I wouldn't have married her. Okay. He said, I wouldn't marry a woman that I discount. That's what Marceau had to say. All right. So then Tisha kept cutting her eyes, okay, back and forth at Marceau and Dr. Francis to see like what the reaction was. Okay. So the whole time that Marceau was talking, she kept cutting her eyes over looking like this here. Okay. All right. So then Dr. Francis, he kind of got a little irritated with Marceau kind of going on and on and on and on. And Dr. Francis said, okay, look, I'm going to go on and wrap this thing up. Like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm done. I'm going to wrap this up now. Okay. He says that Dr. Francis told him, he says, one of the things that people tend to do is argue the truth when the truth stands by itself. I said, neither one of them said anything after that, of course. They just sat there looking like, damn. Marceau was sitting there looking like, damn. You're right about that. You kind of right about that, Dr. Francis. So he had nothing to say. Neither one of them had anything to say after that. Okay. Yeah. Marceau was looking like, damn, I'm caught. That's the look he gave. All right. So next scene is Kimmy and Maurice. All right. Kimmy and Maurice, they're sitting down. They're eating dinner together, just the two of them. All right. Dr. Francis, he walks up. Kimmy offers Dr. Francis a plate, which he declines because he said that he had just eaten. Okay. All right. So then Maurice, in true Maurice fashion, okay, he asked Dr. Francis, why can't a man have sex twice a day if he wants? That's what Maurice asked Dr. Francis, okay? Which then makes Kimmy frown, and she gave the whole like, oh, Lord, here we go again with this bullshit. Because y'all know he had already asked her that at home about having sex twice a day. And Kimmy was just like, I don't have time for that shit. Like, I work, all that. So then Dr. Francis responds to Maurice as to say, it's because it's a woman's body. Like, you don't get to control her and or tell her when and if she has sex. When she feels like it, then she will do it. It's not up to you to control her and her body. Okay? That is what Dr. Francis told him. So then Maurice sits there looking stupid like, yeah. I was like, yes, your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle headed ass do not control her body. When she feels like giving it to you, maybe your nuts stink out here. Maybe you got the musky nuts out here, sir, which is why she don't want to keep letting you jump up and down on her. Like, go in there and scrub your balls and then come back and see what she feel after that. You know, that's what I'm feeling. Yeah. So then Kimmy explains after Dr. Francis said what he had to say. All right. Kimmy explains that she has a lot on her plate. Okay. That she has a lot to commit to. All right. She says she has a lot to commit to be out here trying to have sex 2 times a day because she's helping with his kids. Because y'all know he wanted Monster to come and stay with him. All right. So she says that also she's working and she's handling the business of the house. So she said that there's no way in the hell that she has time to be laying up doing that all day. All right. So I'm just like, Maurice, get your meatball headed ass somewhere and sit down. Kim was like, you pretty much be laying in the bed all damn day, Maurice. You don't help me with anything as it relates to the house with the kids or anything. So like I told y'all, Kimmy, she's a nurse and she also has her real estate license. So she does real estate on the side as well. Plus she helps out in the house. She does all the, things with the house. She says she meal preps. She helps Maurice with their son Monster when he's there. And she's also trying to help her son as well, doing the stuff that he needs her to help. So she says she's pretty much pulled very thin to where she don't have time to be trying to give Maurice sex twice a day. You need to go to some kind of sex therapy, sir. If you got to be trying to do that all day. Like, anybody got time for that? Anybody got time for that? Nah. Damn. So Maurice, of course, still was not getting it, okay? And he still wanted to know why Kimmy just cannot find the time to give him sex 2 times a day. All right? Yeah. So Kimmy just kept telling him, look, I'm busy. I'm just too damn busy. Okay? Like I said, go in there, wash your balls, come back, and then we'll see how I feel after that. All right, so Maurice feels, and he told Kimmy that because he sacrificed and came to therapy, that he should be rewarded twice a day with sex. And Dr. Francis said, that's not how it goes. He's pretty much saying, no, that's not how it goes. You come to therapy because you need it, not because you're trying to bribe somebody for some sex. Like, no, that's not how it goes. That is not how it goes. All right. So then Dr. Francis also says that some of the responsibilities, if they want to try to incorporate this sex 2 times a day in there, that some of the responsibilities between the 2 of them should be done prior to them, having sex, so that whenever it's time for them to try to do that, then they won't have as much to do, and that could maybe make time for them to have sex twice a day if that's what they choose to do. Okay. And Kimmy was still on that, like, no, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to do that. And she told him that at home. She made that very clear with him. But that's not surprising because, like I said, when Maurice said on the Las Vegas trip that he had a fivesome, like, it seems like he has a very bad sex addiction. Okay. And y'all know Kimmy is kind of up in age. So she's like, look, you're not about to be, jumping up and down on me that many times a damn day. And I'm tired as hell when I come from work and trying to help you take care of your damn child. Like, no. All right. So then Dr. Francis came back and said that sex isn't something that you do with each other. It's something that you share with one another. Because y'all know that Maurice, he more so likes to dictate to Kimmy versus ask her and include her in things. He's always going ahead of her and doing things versus including her. So Dr. Francis was saying, hey, look, sex isn't just something that you do with her. It's something that you share with her. Okay. So then Maurice with his damn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle headed ass, okay, looking like a damn turtle, sitting up there looking like, oh, okay, looking all confused, like he still didn't get it. So he wanted to bribe Kimmy into giving him sex twice a day during the entire time that they were there for therapy, okay? Yeah. So then, of course, y'all know the episode ends there, all right? The episode ends there. So that is the end of that episode, you guys. Okay. Now, on the upcoming episode is showing that Lewis and Tiffany is actually going to leave the house because they have had enough. So it looks like it's going to be very, very juicy on the next episode. I think the fight between Marceau and Martell is going to be on the next episode, according to my sources. We will see. Okay. Yes, according to my sources, I think the fight is going to be the next episode. So we will see. But that is where this particular episode ends, okay? With Dr. Francis sitting down with Kimmy and Maurice, all right? And talking to him about this whole sexual addiction to where Maurice wants to be jumping up and down on somebody with his musky-ass balls and his big-ass head. When Kimmy is like, sir, no, sir. Okay? So I hope you guys like the review, all right? I try to make sure I had everything in chronological order and throw in a little bit of commentary in there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. For those of you who did not watch it, I hope I was very thorough to the point to where you felt like you watched it. Okay. All right. So I hope, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay. Yes. Let's see. Happy birthday. Oh, happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Charlene Hyman is saying happy birthday to someone. Oh, Desiree, enjoy your special day. Okay. Happy birthday, Desiree RL. All right. And anyone else with the birthday in the chat, if you have an anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well. Okay. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. As I was saying in the beginning of my live, I wanted to go live yesterday But I found out that my neighbor, who I'm really good friends with, she passed away. So I was kind of processing that situation yesterday, and I did not want to go on live because, yeah, I was kind of a little bit in my feelings about that because it was something that was kind of sudden. And when I found out, I was just like, what? So I had some material that I wanted to go over yesterday with you guys, but I just did not feel like going on live after I heard that yesterday. So I kind of needed a moment to myself to kind of process that situation. So I chose not to log on last night and go live, but I said I was definitely going to touch bases with you guys today to go over the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville for those of you who watched it and for those who didn't, because I know a lot of people saying they're not watching the season and they don't want to watch it. They just want to log on and see the review. Okay, so I hope, like I said, I was very thorough and that my review made a lot of sense as to this last episode that aired. Okay. As y'all know, Love and Marriage Huntsville does come on Saturdays at 8 o'clock. All right. So we will definitely be keeping up with the episodes. And if you want to know the reviews and or what's going on with Love and Marriage Huntsville, like I said, or anyone on the cast, right here on this channel, because I'm always doing updates and or reviews. Okay. So I appreciate everyone in the chat. If you did not hit the like button, please go ahead and do that. If you did not subscribe to this channel, also please go ahead and do that as well. I see we have 127 likes. We have 180 in the building. We did get up to, I think, almost 200 and something. Everybody's starting to, I think, log off. I do appreciate all the likes. Can we get some more? Can we get some more? I think I did a damn good job on this review. I think so. Yes, I'm trying to get this review out to my caramelians and our followers. Okay, thank you to my moderators. You guys have done a great job. Miss Tawana Webb, Linda Gamble, also to Melody McFadden. Thank you guys for being my moderators for this particular review. They've been coming on for a few of my lives now. I appreciate you guys jumping in and helping out over here. Okay, I really, really appreciate it. Yes, I do. Thank you so much for everyone also in the chat. Okay, as well, and for those of you that support my channel. If you want to email me, my information is in the description, caramelrail75@gmail.com. If you would like to cash out me, it's also in the description and also in the chat here as well at the beginning of the chat. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much. Like I said, love you guys right back. I see you, Miss Tawana Webb. Thank you, girl. Love each and every one of you in the chat as well. Okay. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day. I'll touch back with you guys tomorrow. Okay. Because I do have some more tea that I wanted to get with you guys with. Okay. Says love you always. Goodbye all. Yay. Thank you. All right. I'll see the hearts in there. Thank y'all. Have a blessed day. Goodbye.